the LCS for our final game of the day.
Oh, boy.
It is CLG on one side, it is Cloud9 on the other. We had a whole plan for this, and that plan went out the window just moments ago because we have some breaking news. Thank you for that, Raz. I thought Mark was going to join. I thought Mark was committed to the breaking news segment.
My jaw is on the floor, that's
why. From Cloud9, tweeted only moments ago, LS has been released from Cloud9 and Max Waldo has been promoted to the LCS head coach position. We would like to thank LS for his contributions to the team and wish him the best. It is a short, concise statement. LS is gone.
I'm shocked.
Did not see
a 3-1 team.
Yes, and their academy team's killing it too.
Yeah.
This is success. People were copying some of the strategies a little bit. You know,
it's insane because one, like you said, the success, and two, if you follow their content, it seemed like such a, he was such an integrated part that like with this happening, you have to assume, at least for me, that like something has gone wrong.
Yeah.
Because like with all the things that seem to be going right, what would make you then pivot and do something different?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's also the timing, right? Like right before.
Right, it's not like it was the beginning of the week.
Like
This is moments before stepping onto the stage.
Yeah, this is not midweek prep. This is not, like I said, released, not like mutually parted ways, which means it's coming from the org down, not like, oh, LS decided that he didn't like coaching our team, or like it didn't come from him. So that's where you start reading between the lines a little bit.
Yeah.
And these are the type of things that are the most frustrating for fans and all this, just because you'll never get the full picture, right? It's always going to be something that's internal. It reminds me of like last year with the release of Dardoch when he was on Dignitas, actually, where things happen. It was rushed out. It seems like this release was just happened recently, like you said, Emily. So shocking to see.
Absolutely shocking. I don't want to dive too deep into the speculation, hole, because we very much could in terms of what it was that is the cause for him being released. But more than anything, I want to talk about now what remains for Cloud9. That idea of everyone being bought into a certain philosophy and committing to that. That philosophy, I have to imagine to some degree, is changing. The one piece I will add, though, is that Cloud9 did play at least the duration of lock-in without LS in the country and therefore Max Waldo behind them. So it's not like he is somebody who is being thrust into the situation without any prior experience. The guy is very well versed in the LCS.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was going to say about in terms of, we mentioned it with Ellis coming in terms of recommending Max and Vigar, but like these are two now like pretty experienced like coaches and analysts on their side that had already done a pretty good job of steering the team in the right direction. And additionally, a lot of the stuff when we talked about like where C9 was successful, it was in like I know Mark and I have talked about this elsewhere, but like in their loss, it was actually gave us more confidence in the way that C9 was working because of the way that the players were willing to go a direction, the way that they were still like organized and playing around their composition, playing around how well they were coordinated as a unit. And so if that's already established, I think that's still like a really good building block for the team, and they all have hands.
That's what I was saying. Like we were both like, when people are like, why are they winning? We're like, well, they have really good hands. They actually play really well, the game itself. And I think from that sense, regardless of leadership, like the players are still the players.
The baseline exists.
Exactly.
It's still there.
Naturally, the community will always put a focus on like biggest kind of content creator and analyst in the scene, and of course, like being able to join this team, but the team itself is just damn good. Like Blaber, we already talked about the fact that he's an MVP jungler in a previous split. Berserker has come in and had like a huge impact this time around, and no one has to say a damn thing about Summit because we already know from his accolades and who he is as a player. So like this team is just set up to succeed. The
one thing I will say I do expect to change to some degree is drafting, because that was something that everybody was very vocal about. LS did have a heavy hand in things like the Soraka pick coming to to the stage only moments before that game. It's that matchup itself. And so I'm wondering now, with him out of the picture, how their drafting might change. Will they be as creative and expansive a team as they've been in the past, or will they start to hone in on some specifics? Now, all of this Cloud9 stuff aside, though, I do think we need to turn our attention to the only remaining winless team in the league, which is CLG, after TSM picked up one today. And the person, of course, that I'm going to naturally draw my attention to is Contractz, as this team has struggled throughout the first 4 games of their split. This is the guy who I would look to the version of this guy who showed up for EG just last year to come in and actually start making a difference.
That's who they were hoping to get with him. In a lot of ways, he's the most experienced member on this lineup. I think he feels that way, and he is making a lot of attempts to find plays and opportunities and get CLG going, but it feels a little too brute force. And you see him making a lot of mistakes to the point where people think now, oh, he's the worst player on this team, even though, you know, he was brought in to be that veteran voice. And that's something that they're going to really need to shape up with the entire team, is getting on the same page.
Yeah, and I exactly. And I hope things change because, you know, last he was on the desk and was talking about this when he was on Evil Geniuses getting player out of the game after the player out of the game, right? It was like the fact that he had been working on his shot calling and leadership. Like, this was something that he was pretty open about. And so with where CLG is now, sure, this is week 2, but it looks pretty disastrous. And from him specifically, like, he can definitely look back in those games and they weren't pretty from him. I expect change because he has the talent. Look at this team. A lot of those players have done well in previous situations. They can bring it together. It just needs to happen soon.
I mean, I want nothing more than that for him. It was an emotional Contractz that we had on that desk after he reappeared at the LCS, but I think so deservedly, I want those emotions to be able to bubble back up as he takes pride in what he's put out on the LCS stage. He's going to have his work cut out for him, though, today up against Blaber. We talk about closer at the top of the day being an MVP candidate. Blaber is almost always a part of that conversation as well when it comes to an LCS split.
Well, and guess what's back? Udyr and Hecarim.
Oh,
you know?
Lord.
Let's go. You know, when Blaber won that
Perfect
MVP,
for him.
Udyr.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Like, jokes aside, I think the thing that made this team so successful, even with the, like, I guess, wonky LCS drafts or whatever you want to say about C9's drafts previously, is the way they integrated Blaber, the way that they facilitated how aggressive he wants to be on a lot of these champions, and they had comps that like buffed and made the most of that.
Yeah, Blaber is arguably the greatest North American jungler ever. You know, like in terms of raw dominance, when he is on, no one is like Blaber. And so you do have a tough task for Contractz, and I think for Blaber himself, like this will be a great meta for him. I expect to see him continue to do well. That one Karthus game aside, where he misplaced some ultimates, which people have harped on to no end, like he has actually been incredible through the first 4 games.
You get one. Everybody gets one.
True. And I think the relationship that Blaber and Fudge has had so far has been great. More so, like, it's been Fudge who's been the person supporting Blaber and allowing him to be the incredible carry that he is, and the same goes to Berserker. And so, like, if you just take a step back and look at this team, they will continue to have success as long as they're on board the Blaber and Berserker train, the double Bs.
The Berserkers.
The Berserkers. So they just get on track, support these guys, and they will for sure hand you far more wins as the split goes
Honestly,
on.
one of the many reasons why I've loved watching Fudge from his top lane days to his mid lane days is while he had a big boisterous mouth coming into the LCS, he really is a humble guy to his core and has had that willingness to take the back seat in service of the victory anytime it's been required of him. And so, again, Cloud9, now without their leader in LS, taking the stage for the very first time against CLG, still hunting for their first win here in 2022. That's all we have to say. Let's hear what Phreak and Kobe have prepared for us. Gents, how you taking the news?
What did we have prepared for right before the Cloud9 game? LS gets released. Let me tell you, that is the most unexpected thing you could possibly have told me 5 minutes ago. I am in complete shock. Now I see you're gonna come up with something more.
But I got nothing. No, I got nothing. I tried. I'm like, actually, it's really top tier for this one.
Phreak's like, well, did you know I won a Nobel Prize? I'm, wow. That's more surprising. Okay.
Me too.
Well, let's get into it and focus on the actual gameplay here, because I'm sure that all of the detectives are going to be trying to trying to figure out what happened with all of the commotion. But man, there's been actually, that reminds me of the TSM drama as well, with releasing a coach this week as well. So much craziness. Anyways, the players are focused. We saw, camera was on them the entire time leading up to this. Fudge was, still focused, still smile. So hopefully they just stick right to the game plan. CLG are sticking to their bans, banning away that Karthus.
I like the Shyvana Hover. We'll see where it actually goes into this one. But yeah, it's interesting to see how teams develop over time. Even though Cloud9 lost with the Karthus, it's still on the ban table, as you mentioned. Hecarim has shot up in priority and is the first pick here.
It's a strategy that I, too, would use against Cloud9. I for sure would focus as much pressure from a blue side on banning away Blaber. They do give up, some priority picks here. Luger on Jinx has been CLG's catch-all, basically. That was their success in lock-in. This bottom lane came in with such an explosive, angle on this game, and it allows Cloud9 to steal that away, as well as stealing away one of the easier, more comfortable scaling picks for Fudge. Something he also immediately used in lock-in, put the most time in on. So Cloud9 are happy in exchange for Blaber basically tanking all the hits in pick bans here with the 3 bans and a first pick jungler. He does set up Berserker and Fudge with some real comfort picks.
Yeah, so Fudge gets his second Corki game of the year, deathless when he played it. That said, in the LCS, their only loss was when he was on a non-enchanter. Aurelia was a loss for him. That said, see what looks up against Palafox's Ryze. That's been locked.
All right, what odds do you give me on support roaming top with the early Karma pick here? Because this, to me, this is one of the first that I actually experienced in solo queue was I had a top Karma and I picked Hecarim, and it is insane the amount of aggression that you can use to take over the jungle. And since they've already banned out 3 jungle champions, you could go for the style of support roaming top where you buff up the jungler early on and you counter jungle a bunch, you get 3 quadrants and try and starve out Blaber and attack Cloud9 at their heart.
And I mean, honestly, I feel like attacking Blaber is really useful, right? It's going to be really successful. So I think strategically it makes sense. I would put the odds at greater than 50% that it is going to be Karma top by the end. But obviously you can draft in this way. It's tougher for blue side. Cloud9, I think, reliably grab jungle on 4, and then CLG show their hand. Whereas the Karma and C9 get to counterpick for Summit.
I'm wondering if Cloud9 will also ban away the Ezreal, because Ezreal Karma is a very potent lane as well. And you can start to whittle down on some of the flexibility that way by continuing to ban away the really good pairings for bottom side for Karma. If they follow it up with the Ezreal, then I think it's straightforward. But looks like Jhin instead is the choice. The snares on bottom side are definitely one that you can also use to try and play around jungle because you can follow up on those jungle invades a lot easier.
Interestingly, they are leaving the Ezreal up. If you go by what Luger's played this year, Jinx, Ezreal, Kog, Caitlyn, Jhin. Well, we took the Jinx, we don't think you're going to play Kog, Caitlyn, Jhin off the table, go for it, but the Ezreal is being conspicuously left up.
Yeah, and that would be where my money is on the side here for CLG, but it's going to have to be at least, I would assume, a jungle pickup and leaving Flex for later, but with Cloud9, LS still there or not, they remain able to use some of these quote-unquote jungle picks as solo lane flexes too. And
it seems like they're trying to remain flexible. A Renekton ban is the kind of thing where you are happy if they play Renekton against top Karma. Like that, I feel like you should get nothing out of that one, letting him free farm. He already wins every lane anyway, so what's the point here?
That's
so it's like this Karma's maybe going bot lane instead. We saw the Ivern hover, which I just thought was enjoyable, but I mean, we have seen top Corki.
I would say for sure Ezreal then, because if like you're saying, the banning away Renekton is kind of a tell. It would be way more team fight power and more speed. They are all-inning on speed buffs for Contractz here. Double speed buffs from the bottom side of the map and getting the blind Camille for Jenkins.
I like it. I think it's a cool champion, and they are playing around a fairly high-tempo front line. Hecarim, you always want a second diver when you're playing one diver, right? Hecarim going by himself is an okay teamfight starter, but they fear away from you. There's a good chance, like, the Jinx you hit just keeps walking backwards and, like, the Victor can't hit or, the Ryze can't hit. So someone else who also shows up to finalize the kill, that's important. Hecarim, Camille, I think, is a great combo.
Plus, when you run the Ryze like this, you want to be able to rotate 2 side lanes, and Camille has her own gank setup. So very, very guaranteed gank setup from that top side of the map for possible roams for Palafox. Because if you're looking at your bottom lane, you're like, oh, we've got a Sivir Karma. Like that is poke on bottom side, and it very well could be the lethality version of Sivir. I'm kind of expecting just the tendencies of Luger for them to go with the more team fight carry, but that is an option that is definitely effective in solo queue and does pair well with the poke style of Karma too. So interested to see what CLG are working with. But again, this is all with the perspective that CLG are 0-4. They're at the bottom of the table right now. And Cloud9 are heavily favored coming into this. Cloud9 have drafted a very standard team comp here on the current meta. Corki, Premier, in position, mid laner here, will scale up as long as the Ryze roams aren't too effective and within the first 2 items, that will be massive influence from Fudge. Jinx, premier AD carry position for carrying these team fights. So Cloud9 are set up with basically some of the highest priority generic picks for the meta, that along with Zhao. And we'll see what they can do here versus CLG, because CLG are the ones that are really digging and trying to upset.
So I'm a fan of Lethality Sivir in general. I give her kind of the 60-40 edge, where I think more often than not you should play Lethality Sivir. Dark Harvest is a hard tell that is Lethality Sivir. So Manamune into Duskblade is generally the core 2-item spike. Cyrilda's often is third. Your Q slowing is pretty valuable. It means your ult cooldown is like 75 seconds by 2 items or so, and you're just throwing move speed onto your divers when they get onto that Jinx, because she can't flash out of Camille ult. There's no Tom Kent. She can't lantern out of the Camille ult. Like, she's going to be stuck there. Just getting that boomerang to hit at all, that's going to guarantee the kill. Sivir by herself, by the way, can 2-shot a squishy. 2 Qs will actually fold it at a squishy. It'll kill Sivir, it'll kill Jinx, it'll kill a mini Gnar. If you have someone else help with that one, you're getting that execution. Dive into the back line. Hecarim gets more move speed. Karma helps that one as well. The bot lane is a support to help the top side carry, and it's about Jenkins and Contractz just running over backline champions.
Yeah, I'm actually so happy that we did hit here, because it's a really interesting lane, and with the pairing with Karma can be very difficult as the Cloud9 bottom lane, trying to avoid a lot of this early poke damage and chunking you out in lane. So the way that this lane goes is so incredibly influenced by the amount of skill shots that you hit early on, especially from the CLG side. And they're really the masters of their own destiny. Look at the mini-map. So much range being given by the Cloud9 bottom lane, and respect basically given to that push. Still fighting over the minion wave though, and actually Cloud9 bottom lane does have some early push here with Winsome getting that execute, but the last Karma Q and Sivir Q will get the wave going.
Play doesn't mean much though. Winsome's going to lose like 300 health for that play, and Berserker doesn't hit much back.
Yeah.
It was between Luger's Q cooldowns, but now he's against turret. That's good juke. Could have aimed a bit better.
And even if you're Aftershock, maybe that's a little bit more okay, but as Glacial Augment, which is always not for a Thresh, you are so squishy. You don't get any of the damage reduction. I really like the design of runes, by the way, where they diverge it to protect me, Aftershock, protect everybody else on my team, Glacial Augment, and that's kind of the trade-off that you get there. A lot of damage sustained by Winsome, and as we were saying, it really matters in this lane. You are chugging through all your sustain versus this amount of poke.
I like the board, by the way. It's better than putting it in the brush itself. When you just saw Palafox put down at the bottom side of mid lane, tracking that he thinks the jungler is going top to bot. And okay, if you want to gank me through the lane or through the river, you'll go past that ward. If you want to invade, we'll see you on the ward as well.
So smart too. They're focusing all their poke on Winsome. You see, they're chugging through his sustain because Berserker's got cookies and the 2 potions left. Every skill shot is going at Winsome. This Thresh is burned dry. There's no more sustain left for Winsome. They're going to be forced into some very precarious positions and even have to call Blaber in order to help ensure that there's not a full clear Hecarim coming their way. And Contractz, speaking of that full clear, just finishes up on it now.
Yep. Well, bottom scuttle was claimed though. Zhao skept both Krugs and Wolves to make that play. So 2 cannons, blast plant to bot side, and then that one's going to be taken over. So we'll see if Contractz can make his way to the top side in time and grab top scuttle. Camps respawned at around 4:23, so has plenty of time to spend to knock that one down and then keep the farm going.
Yeah. By the way, both of the Duskblade, Poke Sivir, Lethality Sivir games that have been played in pro play this year were in LCK and LCK CL. So all the other ones were the more standard AD carry build, crit builds. And a lot of the pokes, you know, they still have poke enthusiasts.
There's your tier
in Korea.
Yep. I mean, we already knew from the Keystone choice, but there's the tier to cement it. It is indeed Manamune first. I, by the way, don't think Manamune into crit is a good build, so I wouldn't recommend making that the option. Although I guess it can be done.
Nah, yeah. If you're going it and you're running Duskblade, like you're definitely going all in on the lethality on the poke style. So as we look at the rest of the map, though, you know, full clear for Contractz. He is 1 camp up on Xin because Xin usually skipping out on the first extra camp there from Krugs, and so Blaber now going back over and reverse clearing, trying to catch right back up, whereas Contractz has options towards top side. Summit's mini and has the wave pushing against him. But it looks like they're focusing on the Xin right now. Palafox with his first move.
Takes a few of them. Spites for health, doesn't get the actual camp though, and so Blaber is pushed off of most of his Raptors. Gets 1 or 2 of the babies. Otherwise, a very small lead to Cloud9. Poome reads the juke well enough. A little bit of poke towards Winsome, not a ton though. Bot lane overall pretty equal. Top though is pretty tragic. There is a bit of a wave, but Jenkins is down in this top lane.
Yeah, but Winsome still has no sustain. So they're poking him down again and again and again, even on back for the boots. Xin is the make or break.
Great flash flag, get away from the hook. A knockup available for Blaber. Maybe spell shield gonna guarantee it's not gonna land. Size up the hook as well. Flash is burned though. It's 3 summoners out for CLG. Winsome burns 2 himself. Blaber also burns a 3rd, so really nothing gained ultimately on either side.
That was so close, just out of range. Very good evasion from CLG. And that is going to be a lot expended offensively too. Contractz coming over for it.
Such a risk though. Poome can shield. Is it going to be enough? Can you kill Winsome? Is it enough damage? Push them around. The Gallop is there. Half HP now. Ryze in there as well. CLG looking to find first blood. Looking to find 3 kills. Is it going to be enough? And it's a shutdown on 2. Kill number 3. A triple to Palafox. CLG on the board.
It's a bot lane massacre, Phreak. And Cloud9 are in the dirt. They bring everybody over, everything perfect here. The ult from Palafox, perfectly positioned. We set up Ryze roams early on, being very effective. As soon as Palafox got access to Realm Warp, he comes over, Contractz starts it out on the big wave stacking. This is the payoff for your investment, for committing to the poke Sivir. Lethality Sivir coming through, combined with Karma. They earn this themselves. All the focus over and over on Winsome. He has no sustain, so they know he's still here on 300 HP. Chunk in, Contractz intelligently does not early dive, backs off and waits for Palafox to come through. Then they finish it, they poke through. Oh my goodness, just the AoE damage. Poome taking the tower, AoE Karma Q, the Luger Q over them as well. Just massive from the CLG bottom lane. They're back to focusing on what their strengths were originally with this lineup. Bottom lane earning so much for them, and guess who got paid for the bottom lane's hard efforts? It was Palafox, 3 kills, all into him.
Looks pretty good right now, the smite fight, and now we got a red buff to be attacked. Blaber is gonna get himself a little bit of health, and no, it was even Contractz who took away the big raptor, so thank you for the 4th kill. Palafox gets out of the lane. Fudge, he's got even less CS. The man on non-enchanters, nothing gets done for Cloud9.
Are they making the new copy pasta already, Phreak? No LS, no win for Cloud9?
I mean, it's no enchanter, no win. They lost on Aurelia too.
It is a brewing here for CLG. Remember though, they really do need to be able to leverage this early advantage for themselves, because there is scaling on the side of Cloud9. The benefits.
Hook though. Chomper. Oh, the Chomper has interrupted the flay. It didn't go anywhere. Doesn't reach tower range, and that means Poome's able to walk away just barely with his life.
Okay, so they do have Xin hovering as well. Blaber, by the way, has been losing so much CS by constantly having to babysit bottom lane and hover bottom lane. And because they didn't get that last auto off on the gank, he never got paid for his time investment. So Blaber is also paying the big price for the extra health chunks that bottom lane sustains. He's always hovering here. He's 2 levels down on Contractz, who's just turbo farming, getting so much off of these big plays. And CLG, they need to keep their eyes on how best to leverage this early advantage. Start stacking your dragons. Force this dragon fight off your bottom lane. Next time, you've got Winsome already focused down again. He had to go back for a refillable potion. He's sustaining so much damage from the poke bottom lane. Use that pushing bottom lane for dragons.
And there we go. I mean, how good it's got to feel? CLG, the only winless team after watching TSM win early today. Contractz, who leads junglers in deaths, 27 deaths across 4 games. Second place is 17. He's up 10 on the next guy, and he leads the triple kill, right? It's his pressure on bottom lane that gets a lot done, that gets the triple down there, invades again, gets a mid laner a 4th kill. Like, what a great turnaround game for Contractz, where he is such a driving force around this game going so well.
Yeah, already he is just so far ahead of Blaber. And the bottom lane, he actually wants to play off there for the entire game because they're going to double speed him up. So he'll have so much extra damage from the move speed plus his turbo chem tank that he can get in there for the one-shots in the back line, even with such a tanky build. They also are going to keep their eyes here on Palafox. So mid lane is under Fudge's watchful eye here, trying to keep track of Palafox. He's doing his best to try and keep control of the minion wave, but Corki early on doesn't have a lot to say about it.
Is this diveable? You're on Sheen Longsword. This man has Phage and Steel Caps. It's actually a pretty tanky Minion compared to the items you've got, right? Cooldown Boots and Bombi Cinder is not exactly a DPS build, but they're going to try. Ghosts into a ward.
He's going to Palafox right now.
Palafox with Blaber here. Winsome is around. A lot of damage. Blaber finally ults, but he's going to get feared right back in. Perfect timing. Contractz sets it up, and Palafox knocks it down for the 5th time in a row, holding the charge to interrupt the Lantern.
This Cloud9 is all out of sorts, Phreak. They yes, you know, you can say already you have to start chanting, we're scaling, you know, scale for late, because those are your only hopes, right? You're hoping you can get multiple items on Corki, multiple items on Jinx later, but CLG are not going to give you that time. This is insane how big of an opening this is. When you pick off Blaber this time around through River, you also get the Rift Herald, #1, which will just further slingshot your gold lead. Anyways, here's Palafox confidently fighting out on Blaber, buying time for Contractz to get over there. And remember, we saw the Ghost was popped so early by Contractz up by top side. That's the communication from Palafox. He says, get here now.
Yeah.
I've got Blaber in River, and even with Flash and Ultimate, he's able to get there in time. Flashes for the kill. This is 5 kills on FLICKR.
Yeah. And it's always been set up by his team, though, right? And it's not to give no credit to Palafox. He's playing it well, but that bot lane 3-man dive, that was bot lane and jungle playing really well. And hey, a good roam to clean it up, right? Well done, everyone. But I just want to give all of CLG credit for these plays all being team plays. You got your mid laner ahead, and that's great. He's gonna use that gold, but everyone deserves credit for making this happen.
Yeah. I mean, they've been down at the bottom of the standings, so this one, they really, really wanted us. Against one of the 3-1 teams, too. Taking a big swing at the top of the standings is going to be very meaningful. Now, the next big pivot point for them, after getting both early game neutral objectives, early bottom side dragon plus the Rift Herald, which was kind of on our checklist of, okay, now you've got this big early lead, you need to continue to press it to actually get your win, is to use that Rift Herald to help spread the map. They've already basically by hand taken over this bottom side one. So then your next choice is either on top side to open up your side lane split push for your Ryze, for your Camille, or if you pick off Blaber again, you can try and use mid too to open up the possibility of your deep wards and make those invasions that much more lethal.
And as Ilya just crushes down the bottom wave, we are seeing
Speaking of invades,
vitality builds. Yeah, another invade as Contractz. Well, we've got, you know, Palafox's top lane. You know, Summit was winning top. I mean, Summit's up 50 CS in that lane. Like, he's really crushing it. Highest farm practically in the game. I mean, a little bit behind the mid laners, but yeah, Ryze's 5 kills is just stronger than you, especially when you went steel caps. So has pressure top side, gets to use Contractz to invade to get more done there too.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really smart lane swap because Cloud9, yeah, that is the shining light for them, is the fed Gnar right now, because Summit's you know, been able to keep Jenkins down so much. But the slight lane swap there, Palafox trying to relieve
Contractz
the
in front of 3. Pressure! Should have ult to get away, burns it, runs for his life, takes some damage, but he's tanky enough with the chem tank to just ult right back out. Can't land any more CC.
Okay, this is right ahead of Dragon 2, so that is 2 ults on the side of Cloud9. Xin, 3 even, because Berserker tried to get the ult there with the Jinx to snipe him at the end, but Contractz too quick on the Hecarim. So 3 ultimates chunked out right before this Dragon gets there. Rift Herald is going to get full plate value, plus the little bit of the extra one there, so CLG, they should be able to get this Dragon without contest. You know, having the ultimate advantage, plus having the positional advantage, and all of these wards through bottom side. So Cloud9, they got to make those little attempts to get back in the game, the brush plays. I like that, trying to set it up. because you need some sort of play like that, surprise play to actually get back in. But having failed it, you got to give up the dragon. Don't even go, think twice about going over towards that side of the map. Try and, if you can, trade something on the other side.
Yeah, down Mythics pretty much in every role that matters right now. Easy pickup here, CLG on their second dragon. Now, not the fastest stacking of all time, right? You're on Dragon 2 at 14 and change. You can do that one in 10 minutes and change instead. Not that it's going to be a problem, just noting that you are not immediately going to be there onto Cloud Soul. A nice one for the Hecarim, to be sure. Having to have the extra movement speed to go with his movement speed, to go with his movement speed, to go with his movement speed. I think he's got 4 ways of getting it right now, and that's going to feel pretty good.
Meanwhile, the whole breaker has been completed for Summit, so at least in true, you know, split push fashion, he can try and just put blinders on and not look at the rest of the team. He's like, I'm winning my lane, top lane. I'm just, you know, here, I got to focus on myself. And that's what he's going to do. He's got his Hull Breaker plus his Steel Cap, so plenty of armor for the split push. The problem is that Palafox on the Ryze has Unleashed Teleport and Roam Warp available and is able to push these waves at will to roam up and try and ruin your day. So we'll see if any of these objective bounties actually get cashed in. These are some of the earliest that we have had in the LCS. This just goes to show the giant stomp here that CLG have in the making.
Well, quick reveal on a ward, but comes around the backside. Good damage here as the junglers are fighting, but Poome is here for a bit more.
Nice
Is it going to be enough? The lantern is there, but he's stuck in place, and yes, 1 kill. Thank you, Triumph. Contractz walks right back out.
Oh my
heal maybe
goodness.
as well.
Yeah, Luger helps him out as well. He heals him. The shield from Karma. It feels so fun to play, you know, jungle from this position. And again, following up on this invade, those are the deep wards that we're talking about for taking down mid lane. You can pick people off in transition. CLG, full steam ahead. You can tell how long they have wanted to have an early lead like this, how long they've been starved in the LCS, because as soon as they get it, they are just running this one home. Really nicely used and snowballed here by the CLG members. Everybody except for Jenkins is living the life.
Yeah, he's getting attacked pretty hard. It's the Hull Breaker split push is working well. Gnar is not going to be far from actually knocking that turret down. Keep in mind, objective bounties are global. Kill bounties go to you if you kill the champion. Objective bounties are shared across the teams. That is everyone's pockets getting lined if you can knock down that top turret, which is probably going to be next wave. I mean, Jenkins took a hard recall. Palafox is walking back to this one. The TP wouldn't come back up in time for Dragon, so probably holding on to that cooldown instead. No, actually chooses to burn it. Says, okay, he is pushing the next wave. I will burn the teleport then. Do not want to lose the bounty. He will be out teleport for Dragon number 3, but might be worth it.
I just really think, too, from Champ Select, you know, especially from blue side, where you have more luxuries of target banning, there's a cool strategy from CLG. You know, triple ban and first pick against Blaber, and then playing off of a bottom lane with such heavy priority has paid dividends for them, and Contractz trying to pick off.
He's in the way. The hook gets him out of there, but we get another fear, and we might get the damage. Gordrinker is huge, and Blaber is able to flash to stay alive, but that is still a flash burned out of Zhao with 2 minutes to go until Dragon spawns. Ultis will come back up, but Flash will not. Second Herald going to be earned off of that nice play to the top side, and we might see turret number 3 fall as a result.
Really strong usage, too, of the constant pressure from this lethality Sivir. You know, this is not a common strategy. As we said, there have only been two other uses of it, LCK and LCK-CL. So it's CLG utilizing some lesser used tech to gain such a giant advantage. Chunking out Winsome, focus firing him to continue to keep pushing on bottom side, earning that tower and those jungle invades to also get Contractz to this position, and Palafox picking his roaming push into the Corki pick from Cloud9. Just really good reactions to punish some focus on scaling.
As the wards go down 3, or I guess 2 are known to be topside. Palafox autos the ward, Poome swept it. And Summon on a control ward was not seen walking in. So Palafox in 1v3, Mega Gnar into the wall. He's tanky, but not that tanky. He's gonna get into the tower range as well. Stopwatch buys some time. Contractz is not going to pull aggro. Palafox slowed. Flash for the stun. Shut down. Huge amount of money on Summit. 40 seconds till Dragon comes back up. The fear comes across. We're going to run right back out. A kill on the board. Cloud9 inching their way back into this game.
Cloud9 needed that one. And CLG, despite trying, cannot get Palafox out of this situation. Stopwatch use, flash use, rest of the team trying to come over to pull him out. But nice hover there from Summit. And again, Summit is the shining light on Cloud9, Phreak. That Summit is the hope, okay? He waits in the brush, has the timing here to pull off the gank, and it is something for them. They're going for the objective bounty, but teleporting behind Fudge. Can he die for this objective bounty? Don't even try and escape.
Right, no Sheen. He walks a little bit backwards. This Valkyrie back is not going to matter for anything. He will drop his life. However, it is CLG on the other side of the map. Is there a play? We see Blaber walking top side. Dragon 3 is going to be a formality, it looks like.
Yeah, it's funny because you always see the map when you have stomps like this with the big early leads turn into this scramble mode and see if the team from behind can, push hard enough, splitting across 2 different areas to grab something, but not going to be the case this time around. Hand caught in that cookie jar. Unleashed teleports are up, and so they get the top pick off with denying the objective bounty and still getting back down bottom side to get that one. The secondary push towards topside turret will get it though, because Summit's got a hull breaker, so he will finish the job that Fudge started and cash in on at least one of those. The turrets are the lesser of those objective bounties, only starting at the base 250 though, so you really do need to have a long way to go as far as catching up.
It's going to take you some time, but it is at least money in the pockets. Contractz on third Dragon, though. We are on pace for a 25-minute Cloud Soul. That is, I mean, if you're uninterrupted, right, like that's still pretty early on in the game. It's going to feel good. Yeah. Of course, Baron right now is an objective that can be played for. Probably not for Cloud9, but, is a possibility. We have Leandri's Corki, by the way, very much more about the slower burn poke. It is more haste, after all. It helps you kill frontline faster. Not sure I like it more than Luden's, but it's an interesting choice. Haven't seen it much as we wait to see the rest of the waves push down.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly will be effective rockets if he's firing a lot of them at Contractz, because Contractz has gone for the second item, Randuin's Omen, so his only magic resist is in his chem tank, and he does have a significant health. Oh, he picks up a, never mind, he picks up a Negatron cloak as well now. So Contractz now also even protecting against that extra magic burn. So a lot here, kind of, as soon as you come up with your counter here from Cloud9, there's so much extra money on CLG that they can actually deny some of those options. So I like Contractz actually spending his money in that direction. And we might even get to see one of those rockets hit him here. A little bit of a test. He actually dodges that one and clears out the ward though.
Summit is just permanently inside lanes, right? And no one can answer. He's got that Trinity Force in, right? He's out of 2 items like pretty early on. And so he's just going to demolish structures here. Looks like top will probably die thanks to Herald here as well. And the 3 CLG members top side. The charge won't quite kill, but the rest of the damage will follow it up, no problem. Jenkins burns a backflip onto some minions, whatever, but turret falls. I don't think they'll get the crash into tier 2 as C9 has some defense, but it's on the map. Thankfully, Ryze answers, but we know Summit very soon to knock that turret down.
Okay, Phreak, this is the pivot point. CLG cannot slow down. If Cloud9 can bridge the next 5 to 10 minutes without a giant loss here, if they can get through Cloud Soul arriving without big losses, maybe they can actually stick to their farm for late strategy. It is at least that 2 items of Corki you're pointing out. The defenses need to hold strong. It's going to be difficult to do because I think CLG will have a pretty good setup for it. But Summit's doing his darndest. Okay, he's out here grinding.
Palafox trying his best. Poome walking through a ward to spot this one. Contractz not here as well. Gnar in a second. Crunches back. They're going to land the fear. Is it going to be enough?
Oh, yeah, it will. Dead.
The roots are there, and Poome able to claim the kill. Did burn the ignite. Able to get the last tick, and that is CLG on the board for a little bit more. They're missing pings on a Baron, but no one's touching it, so CLG, they send 4 over. Palafox can TP to join, and then in a second, they might see Berserker. They go, it's fine.
Yeah, all right. Pings do come out, rotation comes over. Recall actually from Palafox in time. Going to get the purchase first in setup.
Fight him, yeah. All theirs, and so CLG, look at that. They were worried about a possible counterpunch. There wasn't one. Instead, they take away the enemy jungle.
And Palafox is able to finish his Zhonya. So 3 item power spike already for this Ryze. Him being the beneficiary here, picking up all 5 of those early game kills, has funded this moment, with that Zhonya's. Definitely has a lot of playmaking ability here as far as the team fight. And Cloud9 continuing, try and get farm onto their Corki, onto their Jinx, funneling away. Fudge here, level 15, actually, pushing out the side wave pretty quickly.
As the waves go down, you keep that 42 CS lead for Luger here on the Sivir. Definitely on a really good spot now at 2.5 items. At this point, her Qs really do chunk basically anyone on the enemy team.
Yeah, and my general, timer for setting up for a really important objective like this is a minute ahead of time, get your recalls off so that you have plenty of time to set up your vision. And that's got to be paramount here for CLG. They're moving in, trying to clear out every little ward that Cloud9 has ever put in this area. Good control wards purchased, and Poome does his part, gaining the brush control first for them in preparation. Now, hard pings down that split push there for Summit. He does have Unleashed Teleport ready.
And you can see even like the warp positioning for Poome. It's more important to see the crossroads than to see into the brush that you already own. You want to see them come down that little avenue to the side. You want to see them come around the wolf camp. You don't care if they're like, well, they're already on blue. It's like, yeah, we don't care. Like, seeing them come down is a more important part. So good warp positioning there as well. Just quick tip for anyone playing in solo queue.
All right, for the biggest fight, we do have the package pick up here, timed by Fudge for Cloud9. See if they can actually make use of it. He's got blue buff as well, so a lot of power, a lot of hope riding on Fudge for Cloud9 now. Summit has done a lot of work early on in this game. We'll see if they actually have the DPS to back it up, though. Summit also charging up his Gnar bar. He's gotten in the perfect position. Just about to go.
Contractz wants it. He's on a ward. Here comes the TP for Jenkins as well. Package already burned to cut him off, though, as Contractz chunked down low, gets a couple of shields, barely lives. Summit make a Gnar, and it's time to disengage. Blaber low as well, still has his ulti though, can hit that when it gets scary. Jenkins waiting in the wings, Dragon getting burned down, 4K health. Is it going to be a play? Contractz could try to ult in for a steal, but he may not want to give away the kill. Dragon will be grabbed, and it's an objective bounty over the top as well. Jenkins able to walk away, but Cloud9 from a 5,000 gold deficit are able to win the team fight, get the objective, and bring it back a little bit.
The pings were up towards Baron, but nobody else is following Palafox, so he's just going to have to run right past it up to the top side wave, push that one out, and Cloud9 will be able to get in place for defense of the other objective easily. Summit, though, is getting teleported on 2v1.
He's going to be stuck in place for a while. Good backflip here by Jenkins on a half HP. A flash to safety. Interrupted! Nice job on the hook shot there. Jenkins flash, backflip, and an assisted kill.
Now it's got to be Baron call here from CLG then. They just picked off Summit. 43 seconds. He has an Unleashed Teleport, so you know that this death timer puts extra pressure because as soon as he revives, he could Unleash Teleport, and they don't think it's enough time to get over all the way to the top side of the map to Baron and force it. That teleport cooldown there for Cloud9 calls off the play from CLG. It is good tracking from CLG to keep track of that timer, but the pickoff then on Summit actually is not going to reward them anything further than just the gold.
Yeah, just the 450 for the kill and an assist, and otherwise it's Contractz. Okay, he gets top scuttle. It's another 100 or so gold, to your side that Blaber won't be able to claim, but as both teams just farm up, that gold lead just sits at that 4.5 to 5,000 gold difference, and as time goes on, that number means less and less.
And everybody is very familiar with that looming power of the level 16 Corki. Fudge will, next time on basing, be able to get his 3-item power spike, completing his Ravenous as well. And those are when you can win objectives, you can win team fights just by landing some rockets onto the back line. Luger will have a spell shield for one of the rockets. Palafox is decently tanky, but the objective bounties...
That doesn't count, by the way. If a champion doesn't kill the bounty, you don't get the bounty gold.
Yeah, unfortunate there, but it's not the biggest of deals. Only the meager 250s there. And as long as they're getting the gold into the carries here on the right place, the 3 items have come in for Corki. That's what they're really focused on. And if you overextend to split push and give up a kill, that's way worse than getting the 250 bounty plus whatever local.
Yeah, so right, by missing out on it, it's 500 gold you lose because 250 local, 250 for the bounty, maybe a little bit amped if you're really far behind. Yeah. But if you die in an assisted kill, that's 450, right? All of it right back, plus the XP, plus off the map, plus everything else. Exactly to your point, the risk sometimes is just not worth it. And now we have another attempt at the Baron. Keep in mind, Summit is in the bottom lane, does have teleport. and Fudge's rockets are going to be a lot of poke. Misses the first two. Gotta land one of these, still doesn't. He can't find literally any damage. Rocket number 5 misses. Rocket number 6 hits the Baron to leash for CLG, and he's almost out of ammo now. Rocket number 7 misses as well, and now he is waiting to get his next few rockets. One day he'll land a skill shot. Until then, he is on Enchanter duty as Thresh falls. 1 for 0 so far, trying to find the next. His Contractz will die. Is the 4v4 going to be won? Fudge dropped dangerously low. Dark Harvest already popped there.
Oh!
In the back goes Jenkins. A great flash to safety. Ult comes across, and Cloud9 hold on, but Luger shoots him down. Summit gonna fall as well. Blaber on the chase, but Luger's still alive. Finally falls. Palafox gets the kill across. 3 kills to 4.
It's coming down to the wire. The Realm Warp in does land on the Flame Choppers, almost there for Palafox. They can't finish up on the chase, and Berserker's the only one left alive, but Cloud9 have stopped that Baron. Phreak, the power of the multi-item Corki coming through anyways, even with all those rockets missing. I would actually give further credit to Summit because his Mega Gnar literally just expired. Look at the Mega Gnar bar from him from the setup. All right, he teleports in. We're gonna have to skip forward a little bit here to see the actual fight, but the entire thing drains out here in mid lane, and then CLG go for it, thinking, all right, we've got this window. Look, his Mega Gnar is expiring, but he comes in at the last second. It is gone, and he flashes in, gets the Mega Gnar back to protect his backline. And so then even with all those previous rockets missing, Berserker and Fudge can still do the damage, and then Fudge flashes away on the engage from Camille. They're able to burn down Jenkins. It's only here on the re-engage. Now Summit goes in a bit over-aggressive on the hop as a mini and goes down, but they do get Luger out of it. So with the flash through,
well played, Berserker.
They are able to at least stop this Baron. And Cloud9 are now operational.
Glad to see Berserker actually also on a high DPS build. GD second is your best single target option here on the Jinx, and so it would actually really wear down on champions like Luger, but the gold lead sits at 4,500. Package burned now, as Fudge had to kind of get away, or it was going to be on cooldown anyway. It was going to time out, and so we get, again, an attempt at Baron. But you can play around Mega Gnar. This is an obvious resource. It is timed out, and CLG should be more powerful. Can they make it happen? There's the Ghost. Where's the play?
Go for Berserker. He has no flash.
They go into him. There's the fear. There's a knockback. Is it going to be a kill is the question. Lantern back to safety. Well played to Winsome to bring him back out and to stay alive. But it should still be a possibility to grab down the dragon. To get the soul, is it going to happen? The rocket comes down. Good damage. But you've got to be able to claim this one. When will you hit the dragon? They're still waiting around. Contractz getting burned lower and lower. When's the smite gonna come through? He claims it. He wins the smite. But the team fight is gonna go the way of Cloud9.
Oh my goodness, that sacrifice. Contractz goes back in, dodging skill shots with the E combination damage on Hecarim. Smites it, gets it away. CLG, if they had lost that, they would be breaking right now. So Contractz, he keeps the hope alive, sacrifices 1 death for the soul cash in for CLG. It is getting so tenuous here. You saw with that Dark Harvest, the last proc on a Berserker, he got down to under 100 HP, taking the Lantern away with Winsome there. They almost bursted him down, but he was rushed to safety by Winsome, and such a close one this has turned into here with CLG trying to keep up the pace. And now they need to split it into the side lanes. They've got the Camille, they've got the Ryze split pushing back out onto top side. The Unleashed teleports are ready. If they can spread this map and keep it away from the poke damage before these fights that come out from Corki, then they can actually set themselves up for a lot better engages. And you can see the wards start to get a little bit deeper, pushing out on these side lanes and opening up for an opportunity. I'm a big fan of the trailing split push play. When you have this combination, especially with Camille able to lock someone in with the ultimatum, it's a split push, and they're actually doing it. Palafox is going up to hover behind Jenkins. So you can use your Realm Warp to follow up on a Hextech guaranteed engage. They do get...
I don't think it saw. No.
Very close.
The angle is too tight. Had to drop it over the wall earlier, so doesn't spot it. Jenkins solo showing. Realm Warp to show up for a little bit more, but they're not going to quite find the dive.
Can't catch
They've got a wave coming in, and if the rest of the team can show up or kind of cover, they can still get some turret damage. Looks like it's not going to happen, and Summit holds the line.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, but a little bit further away from the turret and trying to catch them on surprise and have the Camille go first to lock them in is the general practice. Unleashed teleports are ready, though, so everybody could join this party.
Cloud9 about to look to see what's going on. Were they invited? Hey, hang on a second.
They just need to back off and buy time for the double split push to get the tower. So they're still able to leverage the 2v1 on bottom side and get an objective for themselves for CLG. Now they're re-engaged.
Looking for the play. Is it going to be enough? A good lantern in time. Berserker is safe. Contractz to run away, but of course he runs very, very fast. Summit's teleport now on cooldown.
Very good threat with the pincer, though. Take the tower, your 2 hover from the split push. They were threatening towards the inside, so they got the ghost over for the attempt here. CLG not able to pull it off, and Cloud9 lived to fight another day, and they only gave up 1 turret in the entire exchange over the last couple minutes.
Wards go down again, and CLG can try. 3 people on the Baron. Jinx rocket spots that'll be on cooldown for the team fight. Contractz will stay full health for the entire fight. Luger spell shoots the Baron knock up for some extra mana and gets to walk away pretty cleanly. Summit though waiting in this brush. Another 1 spots Cloud9 moving forwards. Contractz burns the ghost, runs away.
They're trying to continue.
Oh, they got a kill the bot lane. They 2v1 killed the Corki. Fudge is dead. So CLG can just win the game by stopping the recalls. Do they have blue triggers is the question. What can Summit do? Who can stop what? Because the inhibitor's gonna fall right now. Tries to kill Poome, but he's got the shields. He's got a tower. They did it! He's got a Contractz, and it's signed in blood. 2 kills unanswered. CLG get back out of the bottom lane, and they can try again for Baron if they want to.
The double split push again pays off. It was a flash from both Palafox and Jenkins. Not seen on screen. Fudge dies instantly to it. Really nice combination with the dual split push there. They both flash for it, and they get paid. Inhibitors down, they teleport back in to finish the job. CLG trying to pull them to the Baron. You either lose your Nexus turrets, you lose your Nexus, or you lose the Baron. Get back there, Cloud9. You have to defend.
Berserker 1v2 not gonna work, but with 3 it might be enough. Winsome, does he land the skills? Looks for the flash flake, cannot catch Jenkins. And that is Palafox staying out of the circle to guarantee his teammate gets the safety. CCing the Camille would not have helped. You had to hit the Ryze. They get the Baron. And when you believe in CLG the least is when they show up the most. A 7,000 gold lead, a Baron buff, and looking for a killing blow against Cloud9.
The faithful hearts are pumping, Phreak. The blood pressure in this game. Losing out on that first soul fight, but then pulling it back with the smite. And now some really good split push macro committing to the dual split push, drawing them across to the Baron, just trying to draw Cloud9 resources to split and pulling off this kill. I hope that we get a replay of that kill where they killed off Fudge and they caught him with the double flashes. But even if we don't, CLG get to now use this Baron and the bottom lane super minions to try and end this game, to try and get their first win of Spring Split.
Can make it happen here. 1 and 4. Keep up with the pack that has been winning games today, and Cloud9 look for something to do. Fudge may find himself falling to 3 and 2. We'll see. Krug's gonna be taken down, no problem here. Moving toward level 18 here is Contractz. Going towards tankier and tankier options. Death's Dance gonna be next for him. Already the force of nature in the build. His top turret could be attacked. They're gonna try. Here's the haste. And Fudge will Valkyrie backwards. Has to flash away from the fear. Land the fear, rock behind him, knock him in. That's the combo, and it's almost unbeatable unless you Valkyrie and flash to get away.
And I want to point out Palafox hovering towards mid lane too. He's staying well out of range of the Xin Thresh play. They're hovering here towards topside, but he doesn't have the backup now. Nobody else in place to follow up on that one. So CLG will get topside turrets fully destroyed, secondary turret towards mid as well before retreating.
I believe he has package. I kind of would have liked to see CLG or C9 look for the 4v3 as Jenkins and Palafox were away. Also a teleport down. You could have maybe tried to force something, but it's now Elder Dragon as the play. Grouped up here. Summit to clean out the bottom wave first.
I would like to see, they don't have any or the teleports ready. It's hard for them to continue to split. So Cloud9, good job forcing here.
That hook almost lands. Jenkins got to be careful. He's in a 1v5. There's the package over the wall, but doesn't land the slow, so they're going to be 1v1ing for a little bit here. Running back away through the wave, but no Corki makes this fight a lot easier as CLG look for the spike fight. Can they get in onto Blaber? Blaber's in the front line, looking to knock down. Contractz the same. Has to ult the safety. Too much damage to
They're going for mid.
Looking for the vision. Looking for the push right now. Ryze brings in the minions. The dragon may fall, but so will the base. He dives to the back line, and they just delete Fudge. He cannot do it by himself. The Nexus taking damage, and CLG will find their first win, chopping off the head of Cloud9.
Realm Warp into the base for CLG. They're on the board, baby.
Well done. Well done to CLG. I love seeing Lethality Sivir. I love seeing the comp. And again, when you believe in them least is when they show up the most. Contractz, he knew the eyes were on him. It was such a rough first weeks for him, first weeks for CLG, and this comp was built for him. We're against Cloud9. Man, they're 3-1. They're looking good. 3 jungle bans, first pick Hecarim. It's all about this man. Would you like a Camille to dive with you? Yes, I would. Would you like a Sivir and a Karma to haste you? I would like that as well. Well, here's a quadra kill from some invades in bot lane and then to the top jungle. Beautifully done by Cloud9.
And he goes back in, he hits the smite for Soul. That was critical for them. So much extra move speed for these split pushers. You know, so much use of these ultis on both of them as well. The Hextech Ultimatum and the Realm Warp combinations for them is what allowed them to get inside the base, to play this late game split macro.
Yep.
Pulling them towards Baron, pushing on the bottom side, getting inside with each stroke. It's rewarding to see a team that is no wins at the bottom of the standing, work that hard, have a good strategy, and being able to execute on it.
Yeah, and there were parts that were rocky, to be clear, right? Like the fact that they had this 5,000 gold lead, 3 dragons, they're like, well, now it's hard to team fight around at this point, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it was Berserker and Winsome did really, really well. I mean, Berserker, again, really good build, high DPS. The fact that he got saved by Winsome on like the really turbo crazy dive around that dragon, where Winsome's like already down by like bot lane, and it's like, yeah, Lantern's there, dog, like, off he goes. Like, that was really impressive. Like, I know they lost, but Berserker and Winsome were still outstanding as far as that was concerned. When you get triple cut into your tower and everyone snowballed against you and they still held on and farm, like, really well done to them. Those two are still outstanding. I mean, Summit, obviously, he won his lane 1v1, but the CLG coordination was so much better, right?
Yeah.
The setup for the dive was very, very good. Sivir Karma has wave control. Sorry, their wave control is too good. They're going to have the lane. They set the dive really well. Like, that was really thumbs up. So
They draft a heavy poke, high damage pushing bottom lane, roaming mid laner, jungle, everybody playing off it. So good job.
Really, really good job. So CLG celebrate their first win of the split. We're going to catch up with Kobe's Valentine Contractz in our Verizon post-game interview.
Kobe forever true to his word. The faithful shall be rewarded, and nothing like a fellow CLG jungler to have your back through and through. First things first, was he a good Valentine?
He's good. He's been here, you know, throughout the hard times, you know. Definitely very appreciative towards Kobe.
Oh, and I'm sure he's appreciative of what CLG was able to pull off today, a victory. I know it's been a ride so far in the spring split, so tell me, what's going through your brain right now?
It feels really good. I mean, our backs were against the wall, you know, the past 2 weeks. I wasn't playing too well individually, you know, but, you know, it's about how you handle the adversity and, you know, how you rise from it. And, you know, I just kept on grinding. And, you know, I think once you get that first win, you know how it feels to win, right? So we snowballed from there. So I'm really excited for you know, just weeks to come.
And a strong belief in your ability as well, just based on how this played out, because the bans were coming your way, and we saw a unique lethality Sivir down in the bot lane, Karma as well, all for this Hecarim to go zoom. So tell me more about that game plan.
Yeah, we've been practicing it a bit. I mean, the comp is just really good. I think Hecarim actually gets to like 1,400 movement speed. So you're almost, I mean, you're just zooming. I mean, it's just a really good way to just engage. And even though you blow your initial engage, you can also kite back afterwards. So, I mean, you just have a lot of like kind of opportunity to kind of play around whether you want to go in or if you want to kite. So just a really good champion right now. I think LPL has been playing it a lot. So yeah, just decided to pick it up.
It's such a strong start right there. Going for that play down bot really puts you in a great position. When you're going against a lot of these scaling comps, so there's that moment of, okay, what's going to happen? How are you feeling when it came to that play for Dragon Soul and a knife's edge that required some dedication from you?
Yeah, the Corki actually kind of trolled. He took his package like pretty early, but I just kind of need to respect their timer a little bit more. If I waited like 5 or so seconds before I engage, I think Corki package would have been out and I would have been able to have a pretty good engage, but I kind of pulled the trigger a bit too early, so definitely need to be a little bit more disciplined for that.
So Contractz, I know that we believe in your mechanics, your skill, but for you, the focus over the past few years has been that leadership, working on kind of those intangibles. With everything that has progressed so far, what do you feel is the greatest standout in your learning so far in 2022, or what you want to continue to focus on moving forward?
just making sure me and my teammates are on the same page. I think that's one of the biggest things. As long as we're doing one thing together, it's going to be a lot stronger than, everyone doing their own things. So definitely my main goal right now.
Very important when going against the next squad, Team Liquid, that has looked extremely unified in their game plan. Tell me your thoughts on that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Core JJ's back. He got the green card. So and they're definitely looking a lot stronger. I mean, they were strong before, but now it's like they're like Exodia, they got the final piece. So I'm definitely very excited for tomorrow. Hopefully we can pull out the win.
Yeah, excited.
It's going to be a hard one, though.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun for us. That's for sure. Contractz, congratulations on the win. And thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
The day is complete, my friends, at least when it comes to what we've got going down here on the stage. So let's head on over to the Bud Light Breakdown.
Thank you very much, LeTigress. Welcome to the Bud Light Breakdown, where CLG decided they would not be left in the dust by the likes of TSM picking up their first win earlier today. They will match them 1-4 with a win over Cloud9 of all teams. I don't even know where to begin with this.
That's a shell shock of a day.
With the I think Emily does. I see hands, which means she knows where she wants to start.
Because, I want to give CLG credit for, just Contractz said they'd been practicing the Hecarim. I believe it's been banned against them previously.
Yeah.
This is a composition that they knew exactly how they wanted to play it. We saw Palafox and Contractz working really, really well together in the early game. So it was great to see. Obviously, you can say what you want about all the extracurricular stuff happening around C9, but this was, with a few missteps in the mid to late game, a really clean and decisive look from CLG.
Yeah, even tacking on to that, something that CLG just needed to work on for the past few games is just the discipline in the downtimes, right? That if they're transitioning from one play to another, that they're just not randomly losing somebody and losing time. And it happens a few times already, but this game was much cleaner, a huge positive. When they're resetting on the map and coming back, everybody's on the same page. So that's the type of CLG we need to see going forward.
And I just like the aggressiveness. They have always tried to make plays happen. And once one goes in their favor, I think you could feel the momentum for them. That bot lane dive that they went for was a back-breaking play a couple minutes in the game where you're like, okay, we're online now. Let's keep fighting. Because that was something that they always went for, these aggressive plays. And this one finally worked for them.
Well, and we saw this in lock-in too, right? This is why we were so excited about this team, is because when they did lock-in compositions they looked comfortable on and executed one of these plays, they were able to snowball so well. And I actually was a little hesitant when they were going in on this.
That was the fattest karma queue ever.
Yep, the fattest karma queue, Hecarim queue, even Ryze is getting bounces. Everyone was just right on top of each other.
And this, overall, what makes me happy is that we were at that point where we pointed directly at Contractz as one of the people that needed to re-find that form that we know he was capable of. And he, alongside Palafox, who I know you already called out, Emily, in this game, were big pieces of their success, and in so many ways do feel like the catalyst that this team needs to get those leads. And then, as we mentioned, with leads, they can close it out. Sure, we could still look for some cleanliness. We can ask, for them to lessen the number of mistakes in that downtime that you're talking about, Raz. But they do that, and then all of a sudden they look like a formidable team.
Yeah, and they look creative. When they're, when they have the foot on the gas pedal, the idea of, okay, we don't need to take this fight. We can just pressure for endgame. Things like this. It seems like when they had a lead, they really got the ball rolling, which we haven't seen in the previous week.
Definitely some coordination issues like you're talking about around the team fights, Contractz getting too far ahead. These are mistakes that happened when they were behind, and then, because you're behind, your pony actually dies, whereas here the pony's able to circle back around these fights. But I think in the late game, split push situations where you have the shadowing solo laners and you can, look for a Camille to follow up with a Ryze ult, these are good ideas that they clearly have, and the execution just needs to be improved.
And I do want to give a shout out to Summit, because I actually thought he played this incredibly well. And there were times where I thought his Gnar actually could have taken over the game through the advantages he got in topside. So again, I think CLG coming out and winning here also allows them to look back at a lot of these mistakes with a lot more clarity, right? Because you don't have the the weight of like stacking losses on top of you, now you can be like, okay, let's look at our Drake setups. What's going on there? Like, let's look at our flanks and our entry into some of these fights.
The win comes at a welcome time. Quick question: Did you submit a vote for rival for this game after calling out Summit?
Yeah, we got a rival Summit.
will.
Yeah,
You do it live right here on the desk. Are you calling for Summit as a
We'll
rival?
do it live.
Yeah, are you also going for Summit?
we can do a voting block if we want to.
Voting block right here.
Yeah,
Do you want Summit?
To hell with everyone else.
Overriding.
Yeah, right. Oh, for
Boom.
sure.
Lock it
Okay.
in. Summit gets rival for this game. And speaking of rivals, we're going to take a look at the Pogs. The 5 people who topped the table
leaderboard.
individually when
The
it comes
Poggerboard.
to the winning
Poggy
teams
Woggies.
in this matchup. Don't ever say that again.
lot of
It was
junglers.
closer in game number 1, followed by Tactical for TSM in their first win. Santorin, of course, pulling his weight as always for Team Liquid, Jose Diodo, and then Palafox here in the final game for CLG.
Jungle's too strong. 3 out of 5 of them. Santolini, Jose.
Is that what we're
Diodo.
learning? Is the jungle position too strong?
Oh, don't get me started on.
No, we just have
junglers being
strong-
overrated, all right?
Yeah, you
What?
think junglers
The
are
reality
overrated?
is we just have
Careful,
some.
you have to do you have to work with
Jungle
Kobe.
in the LCS
so
is stacked.
Yes, that's.
It is
I
stacked.
agree with that.
do
That is the answer.
real briefly, I want to have that discussion. Like, do we feel that jungle is just predisposed because of the agency it has to getting more player of the game votes? It either is really successful or really not.
I personally believe yes, actually. Like,
Okay.
but that's part of the reason I always feel that way is because when you have laners who naturally win, and like when you're on the top team and you have the best laners in the league, they're going to naturally get advantages. Enemies are going to be lower health. They're going to be underneath their turrets. They're not going to be able to invade your jungle as easily. You can invade theirs easily. You can pull dives off better. Like the amount of things that accrue from laners for junglers is substantially higher than any other role individually. And that's where you can start having all this agents and be like, it's like, a buffet. It's like, where do I want to kill? And you can kind of run away with, I feel like, a lot of player of the games because of that.
It's really interesting though to me because previously, like in previous years, not recently, but in previous years, people would be like, well, like we're just gonna vote the mid laner that has like the highest KDA,
Yeah.
or like we're just gonna vote the ADC that has the highest KDA. And so to see this shift around junglers picking it up is really interesting.
And I'm not flaming any of the players who got player of the game before anyone misinterprets.
Well, here's the thing.
All
First of all, we're not doing that. Second of all,
No,
I was going to
I
say, I was going to turn a question back on to you, Mark, which is that if you believe that junglers are, overrated in
That you
that
hate
sense,
them.
Yeah.
why are all these junglers ending up as player of the game? You get a vote. You have some agency in this discussion.
I fall prey to it too. I voted for
okay.
Speaker for
Yeah,
MVP
yeah.
last year. Right?
That's why
Like,
we can admit our own shortcomings. I appreciate that, Raz.
And I do think a lot of these teams see the value of having a insanely strong jungler. So when you import closers, Santorin, and in this case, of course, Inspired, who's not on the list, of course.
Right.
And Jose Diodo, like, you're getting the best of the best. because
River,
that's what the
don't
team-
count him. Right, we
can't
can go
count
through the
him
whole
out.
list
True.
at this point.
True. And Pride Stalker.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names.
A lot of overrated
see?
junglers.
Yeah. That's what I'm coming away.
don't mean
That's
it.
my
I don't
takeaway
mean
from this
it.
discussion is Mark thinks every single LCS jungler is overrated. The standings for the LCS currently, we have broken that massive tie for first into a smaller tie for first. 100 Thieves, FlyQuest, Team Liquid all 4-1. What do you got for me, Emily?
Shout out to FlyQuest.
Right?
They kind of got overridden, as did Azale's lovely piece on Zeri, by the way, which you should get back and
yeah.
watch. But,
Check that out on Twitter.
By the C9 news. But in all honesty, we were looking at this FlyQuest versus Dignitas game of these two teams that we didn't expect to be towards the top in facing each other. And I actually did not predict FlyQuest to win. They came out, both Mark and Rez.
During the draft, I said that I thought Dignitas, but I think coming out of it,
Well, what'd you submit at the start of the
what?
day?
Yeah, what'd you say at the start of the day?
What?
I think I said FlyQuest.
I can help you out with that because the next lovely
What did I
graphic
say?
to touch our screen
go.
Yeah,
will
there you
be
go.
the predictions. Says I love how Raz doesn't even know. Throughout the day, I don't know who to
The
cheer
draft,
for.
because we did the draft, and I legitimately liked
You did
Dignitas'
say you like
draft.
the dig side better.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a crazy day. Overall, there was, obviously the TSM upset in the second game. We all got that one wrong,
Yeah.
especially with the volatility that they went through this week. And then the Cloud9 one, I don't know if any of us would have flip-flopped given the news.
I don't
but
think
like,
any of you
I
would have.
wouldn't.
none of us
wouldn't have.
knew that when we
Yeah.
submitted these.
No, without a doubt.
I would have
So,
stuck with C9.
What a
Crazy
day,
day.
what a day, what a day. That's
Double,
where you all
triple
stand.
elbow drop, like, for C9 fans around the world.
Oh, Lordy. We're back again tomorrow with more LCS action. A reminder that the broadcast starts an hour earlier tomorrow. That happens every time between Saturday and Sunday. So if you're here, I can stop reminding you of that. Let's take a look at some of the matchups that we have ahead of us. It's Evil Geniuses versus Immortals to kick things off. That very hot FlyQuest now in a battle for first place against 100 Thieves, TSM, Cloud9. A delicious matchup of old, and now that TSM has their first victory up against a Cloud9 that's taken a punch and lost their leader. That one's exciting. I mean, honestly, I didn't even get through the rest of the schedule, and I'm pumped for tomorrow.
I mean, we've had, like, before we were like, oh, TSM did all these roster changes. Like, we're looking
That's
at
old news.
C9. Yeah, and now they both made massive changes.
That's why I'm looking towards the what's it called? The TSM versus Cloud9 one. It's
Yeah?
the El Clasico for a lot of people for the LCS. And TSM, you heard it from the tactical interview how he's going to use this as momentum. Meanwhile, C9 just got hit with a gut punch. So, like, losing to CLG with the news as well. So, like, there's a lot to look forward to in that last game, too.
I think Mark is just excited to watch all of the amazing junglers here in the LCS for the remainder of the week.
I just can't get enough.
Just can't get enough.
I was mostly a jungler, honestly.
You were a Rek'Sai, I remember you playing a lot of.
Flaming myself.
Yeah, about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Last time you played League of Legends. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the LCS. So on behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for more LCS. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Don't forget that last part.
There's no junglers on ARAM.
There's no
jungle. Like, I can't do anything.
LeTigress decides to jump forward. He's putting the pressure onto Someday. The Gnar bar won't charge, and first blood. Golden Guardians committed to Baron. Baron down to 2K. Ole's nearly dead. Baron is stolen by Closer, and hope dies in the Guardians' eyes. 2 dead on TSM, 3 dead on TSM. They're trying to fire back. Tactical's got the rockets, but they don't do it. TSM's going for the end. Tactical's under pressure. Wild Growth keeps him alive. Tactical being focused, but not enough from the maul. Death rises TSM.
I'm coming. This is good. No. Look at this guy. Okay, I have nothing. No flash. Yeah, no flash. I got him.
Adding it up, the flash play for Vulcan finds a stun, but they've got one, and that's going to be Impact in the dirt. Next is going to fall and pick it up where they left off. Team Liquid crushing EG in under 30 minutes. Going to try again. It is 4v3. Keep in mind, so this should be possible. Gordon heal works well for Jose Diodo. Arrow flashes in. Jose follows the cue, and he finds kill number 2. Kill number 3 is going to be a freebie. Biofrost will dive. The flash to safety still attack, still put down. Jose Diodo gets another one on the board. 7 kills on the Lee Sin. 100% kill animation. A tower dive to send the message. CLG looking to find first blood, looking to find 3 kills. Is it gonna be enough? And it's a shutdown on 2. Kill number 3. A triple to Palafox. They're going for mid. They're pushing. Look at the push right now. Ryze brings in the minions. The dragon may fall, but so will the base. He dives to the back line, and they just elite Fudge. He cannot do it by himself. The Nexus taken damage, and CLG will find their first win.